If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Sharing it with your friends and family helps spread knowledge. And when we help others grow, we grow too. Thank you so much for listening. Let's dive into the podcast, Discovery in the Mist, Stumbling Upon the Cave's Hidden Chamber. Dr. Maria Santos pressed her back against the cold rock wall, waiting for her heart to stop racing. The mist had cleared for just a moment, revealing what looked like a crack in the mountain face. She called to her team through the fog. "There's something here," she whispered into her radio. The opening was barely wide enough for one person. Carlos, their guide, squeezed through first. His flashlight beam danced across the darkness inside. Then came a sound that made everyone freeze. "My God," Carlos breathed. One by one, they slipped through the narrow entrance. Their lights revealed a chamber the size of a small church, but it was the walls that stole their breath away. Every surface was covered in carvings, not crude scratches or simple drawings. These were detailed, precise symbols that seemed to flow across the stone like writing in an unknown language. Some patterns looked like star maps. Others resembled geometric puzzles that hurt to look at too long. Dr. Santos ran her fingers along one section. The carvings felt ancient, worn smooth by time, yet they were deep enough to have survived centuries of moisture and wind. "This doesn't match anything in our records," whispered her assistant, Tom. He was already taking photos, the camera flash making the symbols dance with shadows. The team worked in silence for hours. Each wall told a different story in stone. Some carvings showed figures that looked human, but wrong somehow. Too tall, arms too long, eyes that seemed to follow the light. Other sections contained what appeared to be maps. But maps of what? The continents were all wrong. The stars didn't match any known constellations. Dr. Santos found the most disturbing section near the back of the cave. Here, the carvings seemed newer, sharper, as if someone had been working on them recently. "We need to document everything before we report this," she told her team. "Something tells me once word gets out, we won't be alone up here anymore." Tom nodded, still photographing. "Who do you think made these?" Dr. Santos studied a symbol that looked like an eye inside a triangle, surrounded by numbers that made no mathematical sense. "I have no idea," she admitted. "But whoever they were, they knew things we don't." The team spent 3 more days in the cave before heading back to civilization. None of them could have predicted what would happen next. Their discovery was about to change everything they thought they knew about Mount Roraima's secrets. Decoding the symbols. The international investigation begins. Within weeks of the cave's discovery, scientists began arriving at Mount Roraima from every corner of the globe. Dr. Helena Santos, Brazil's leading archaeologist, was among the first to rappel into the darkness. What she saw made her hands shake as she held her flashlight. The symbols covered every surface. They weren't random scratches or natural formations. These markings showed purpose and intelligence. Each carving was precise, deliberate, and unlike anything in her 30 years of fieldwork. Dr. James Crawford flew in from Oxford with the latest 3D scanning equipment. His machines mapped every inch of the cave walls, creating digital copies that could be studied without damaging the originals. The detail was stunning. Some symbols were no bigger than a coin, while others stretched across entire rock faces. Maria Hoffman, a linguist from Berlin, spent months comparing the symbols to known writing systems. She checked against Egyptian hieroglyphs, Mayan glyphs, and indigenous South American scripts. Nothing matched. The patterns followed their own mysterious logic. The team used infrared cameras to see if the carvings continued beneath mineral deposits. They found layers upon layers of symbols, some carved over others. This suggested the cave had been used for centuries, perhaps millennia. Carbon dating of organic material trapped in the grooves provided shocking results. Some carvings appeared to be over 12,000 years old. This predated known advanced civilizations in South America by thousands of years. Arguments began almost immediately. Dr. Santos believed they had found evidence of a lost civilization. Dr. Crawford suggested the symbols might be natural formations that only appeared to be writing. Others wondered if modern visitors had created an elaborate hoax. The symbols seemed to follow mathematical patterns. Cryptologist Dr. Ahmed Hassan noticed sequences that resembled prime numbers. But when he tried to decode them as mathematics, the patterns broke down into meaningless chaos. Local indigenous elders were consulted, but even they had no oral traditions about the cave. The Pemen people, who lived near Mount Roraima for generations, claimed their ancestors never spoke of such a place. Media attention exploded worldwide. News crews gathered at the mountain's base. Social media buzzed with theories about aliens, time travelers, and ancient astronauts. The scientific community found itself under intense pressure to provide answers they simply didn't have. Each new analysis raised fresh questions. Mineral analysis showed the tools used were harder than any known to exist 12,000 years ago. The precision suggested advanced technology, yet no other artifacts were found. The cave kept its secrets tightly guarded, frustrating experts and capturing the world's imagination in ways none of them expected. Theories and tensions, conspiracy, indigenous testimony, and global spotlight. The carvings had barely been photographed when the first accusations began. Dr. Martinez received an angry phone call at 3 a.m. from a colleague in Caracas. Someone had leaked preliminary images to social media. Within hours, Mount Roraima's secret was racing across the internet. The Pimon people living near the mountain split into two camps almost immediately. Elder Jose Ramirez claimed his grandfather had spoken of sacred symbols hidden in the high caves. He said the old stories warned against disturbing these places. But Maria Santos, another tribal leader, insisted no such legends existed in their oral history. She accused outsiders of inventing connections that weren't there. The tension grew worse when archaeologist Dr. Helena Costa published her theory online. She suggested the carvings were modern forgeries created to attract tourism money. Her blog post went viral within days. Local guides who made their living leading expeditions to Mount Roraima felt betrayed. They had trusted her with their knowledge of secret paths. Academic conferences turned into heated battles. At the International Archaeology Summit in Buenos Aires, Dr. Martinez faced hostile questions for 3 straight hours. Professor Williams from Oxford claimed the dating methods were flawed. He presented counter-evidence that the rock formations couldn't support ancient carvings. But Dr. Sarah Chen from MIT defended the findings. She had run independent tests on rock samples. Her results matched the original dating perfectly. The audience divided into opposing sides, with voices raised and accusations flying. Meanwhile, conspiracy websites exploded with theories. Some claimed Venezuelan authorities were hiding evidence of alien contact. Others suggested the CIA had planted the carvings to justify secret operations in the region. Anonymous sources leaked documents showing government officials had visited the cave site weeks before the official discovery. Television crews arrived from 6 different countries. The small village of Santa Elena became a circus of reporters, equipment trucks, and satellite dishes. Local people found themselves caught between competing narratives about their own homeland. Documentary filmmaker James Hartley captured the chaos on camera. His interviews revealed deep divisions, even within the scientific community. Some researchers whispered about pressure from government officials to downplay their findings. Others spoke of threatened funding cuts and career sabotage. The leaked internal emails told a disturbing story. Government geologists had been monitoring the cave for months before Dr. Martinez arrived. Radio transmissions suggested military personnel had accessed the site multiple times. Yet official records showed no such visits. Social media amplified every rumor and theory. Hashtag Mount Roraima mystery trended globally for weeks. Amateur investigators analyzed photos pixel by pixel, finding patterns and symbols that experts had missed. The line between genuine research and wild speculation became impossibly blurred. The controversy created more questions than answers. Was someone deliberately hiding the truth about these ancient markings? The unanswered question, official closure and lingering doubts. The heavy metal gates closed with a final clang on March 15, 2019. No more visitors would enter the cave beneath Mount Roraima. The Venezuelan government had made its decision. 3 months later, the official report arrived. 27 pages of careful language and measured conclusions. The scientists confirmed what everyone already knew. Yes, the carvings existed. Yes, they were unusual. But the rest remained wrapped in official uncertainty. Inconclusive evidence requires further study, the report stated. Those 5 words became the government's shield against every question that followed. Dr. Martinez received her copy on a Tuesday morning. She read it twice, then threw it across her office. Years of work, months of careful documentation, and this was all they offered. The report mentioned her team's findings, but dismissed the most important discoveries. The geometric patterns, possibly natural rock formations enhanced by erosion. The strange metal fragments require additional analysis. The carbon dating results that suggested impossible age, inconsistent with established geological timelines. Within days, the research community split into camps. Professor Chen stood by his original assessment. The carvings were ancient beyond current understanding. Dr. Rodriguez maintained they were elaborate modern fakes, created by unknown parties for unknown reasons. The closure sparked immediate suspicion. Why seal off the cave if the carvings were just interesting rocks? Why limit access if there was nothing to hide? Online forums buzzed with theories. Government conspiracy, alien contact, ancient technology. The stories grew wilder with each telling, but the basic questions remained the same. Who made the carvings? When? Why? Local guides reported strange visits in the months before closure. Men in dark suits asking questions about the cave's history. Helicopters circling the mountain at odd hours. Equipment being moved under cover of darkness. Maria Santos, the guide who first showed tourists the entrance, watched the gates close with sadness. 40 years I walked this mountain, she told reporters. Now they tell me I cannot go where my grandfather went, where his grandfather went. The academic debate continues. Papers are published. Conferences are held. Experts argue over blurry photographs and secondhand reports. But the cave itself remains sealed, its secrets locked away from prying eyes. Sometimes, on clear nights, locals claim they see lights moving inside the mountain. Soft glows that pulse and fade, as if something still lives within those sealed chambers. The carvings of Mount Roraima have become one of South America's greatest puzzles. Official reports cannot explain them away. Closure cannot make the questions disappear. Deep beneath tons of rock and government barriers, the truth waits in darkness. Patient, silent, unknown.